This is from page 16 of the Math Mechanic Fractions and Mixed Numbers tutorial. Converting non-repeating decimals to fractions. The procedures for converting a non-repeating decimal to a fraction are below. Take the value of the decimal and place it over the appropriate denominator. For example, 0.4 is the same as 4/10. Therefore, to convert 0.4 to a fraction, you would place 4 over 10. As you can see here, 4 has been placed over 10. 4 is the numerator, while 10 is the denominator. Notice, this is 4/10. 4/10. There's only one number behind the decimal. So, this is the tenths. That's why the denominator is 10. This is the tenths place, and so the denominator will be 10. Here are more examples. Convert 0.6 to a fraction. 0.6 is the same as 6/10. Therefore, place 6 over 10 to convert it to a fraction. 0.6 converted to a fraction is 6/10. Again, this is the same as our previous example. There is only one digit behind the decimal. And so, if it's one digit, that means it's a tenth. 0.6/10. So, we place it over, we place the 6 as the numerator, and since it is the tenths place, we use 10 as the denominator. This is the tens place, the tenths. The tenths place, and so we use the denominator as 10. The denominator is 10, and 6 becomes the numerator. Next example is convert 0.35 to a fraction. 0.35 is the same as 35 hundredths. Therefore, place 35 over 100 to convert it to a fraction. There are 2 digits behind the decimal. Therefore, that is a hundredths. Therefore, we take the number and make it the numerator, and since it is hundredths, we use 100 as the denominator. 2 digits behind the decimal means it is hundredths. So therefore, we use 100 as the denominator, and we place 35 over as the numerator. Here is another example. Convert 0.114 to a fraction. 0.114 is the same as 114 thousandths. Therefore, place 114 over 1,000 to convert it to a fraction. As you can see here, 114 has become the numerator and 1,000 has become the denominator. As you can see here, there are 3 digits behind the decimal. That is why we used 1,000, because that represents the thousandth place, 3 digits behind the decimal. The next example is to convert 0.08 to a fraction. 0.08 is the same as 8 hundredths. Therefore, place 8 over 100 to convert it to a fraction. As you could see here, 8 has become the numerator, 100 has become the denominator. Remember that 2 places behind the decimal represents hundredths, so that's why we used 100 as the denominator. Again, we placed 8 as the numerator, and since this represents 8 hundredths, we used 100 as the denominator. 0.08 converted to a fraction is 8 100ths. When there is a number in front of the decimal point, then the decimal will become a mixed number when converted. The number in front of the decimal point becomes the whole number part, and the number after the decimal point becomes the numerator. Here is an example. Convert 1.9 to a mixed number. 1.9 is the same as 1 9/10. Therefore, 1 becomes the whole number part of the mixed number. Place 9 over 10 to create the fraction part of the mixed number. Okay, we have 1.9, and this is to become a mixed number. $1.9 is the same as 1 9/10. 1 9/10. So, 1 becomes the whole number part of this mixed number. Here you have 1. 0.9 is the same as 9/10. 0.9 is the same as 9/10. Remember, there is only 1 digit behind the decimal. So that represents the tenths place. So 9/10. 9 becomes the numerator, and we will use 10 as the denominator. Remember, there is only 1 digit behind the decimal. So that represents the tenths place, and that's why 10 is the denominator. 9 becomes the numerator. It is the digit behind the decimal. So that becomes the numerator. So the answer is 1.9 converted to a mixed number is 1 and 9/10. Again, the answer is 1 and 9/10. In this example, we are going to convert 5.37 to a mixed number. 5.37 is the same as 5 and 37/100. Therefore, 5 becomes the whole number part of the mixed number. Place 37 over 100 to create the fraction part of the mixed number. 5 is the number in front of the decimal. 5 is the number in front of the decimal. Therefore, since it is in front of the decimal, it becomes the whole number. 5 is the number in front of the decimal. So it becomes the whole number. 37 or 0.37. 0.37, the number behind the decimal, 37, is the same as 37/100. Remember, there are 2 digits behind the decimal. 2 digits are behind the decimal, so we will use 100 as the denominator. As you can see here, there are 2 digits behind the decimal, so we will use 100. The digits behind the decimal, 37, becomes the numerator. Okay, so let me go through this again. 5 is the number in front of the decimal point. It becomes the whole number. There are 2 digits behind the decimal point. So therefore, since there are 2 digits behind the decimal point, that represents hundreds. So we will use 100 as the denominator. 100, it will be used as the denominator. The 2 digits behind the decimal, 37, becomes the numerator. The 2 digits behind the decimal, and that is 37, becomes the numerator. So the answer is 5.37 converted to a mixed number is 5 and 37/100.